Scotland and the All Blacks, folks. 23 for Scotland, 31 for the All Blacks. They were down for a wee while, but managed to come back and secure another win. We'll go through some key events and stats, and you guys can let us know your thoughts. I should say I didn't watch this one live. Been having an issue with my throat. It's kind of raw, but we'll see if we can get through this video. So I chose to sleep last night and avoid spoilers. So don't get on social media. If you get in the car, turn the radio off. If your dad sends you 4 messages, don't listen to them. Voice messages. I'll listen to them a bit later, Dad. But I figured if New Zealand had lost, there probably would have been more than 4 messages. But anyway, didn't know the result when I went into watching it. But what a start from the All Blacks, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Taukei'aho goes over within 3 minutes. I mean, Talia's first carry was a pretty decent one as well. A bunch of phases. Taukei'aho drives over 7-0 after no time. AB's a wee bit poor from the resulting restart, but then, man, they were good at the breakdown. Papali'i wins a penalty at the breakdown, and then things are getting hairy for Scotland when Talia goes over on 7 minutes on his debut. Probably second touch of the ball, maybe third. Second. Savia win and turnover ball. Clark with a big carry. Cross kick to Mark Talia. I think it was Jordie that kicked that one. Happy days. Happy days for an All Blacks fan, man. 14 points to 0. It's all going very peachy. However, there's a big old turning point when ALB gets yellow carded. Hoggy with the old chip and chase. And the ball's in the end goal, and ALB kind of looks to slap the ball down, but Hogg's in front of him, so he ends up just more taking Hogg out. It was still a hard one for Hogg to get. Hogg may well have got it without ALB being there, but ALB put himself in the referee's hands, which is not a good place to be. And I think pretty fairly, the ref gives him a yellow card and gives it a penalty try. Next time, mate, it's hard to say. But if a guy's in that position, make him do the work. Right? If you can't beat him to the ball, you just got to let him see if he can get it or not. There's no guarantee he's going to get it in that situation. But I guess in the heat of the moment, it's kind of an all or nothing thing. But anyway, ALB goes off at 7 points to 14, and things don't go well for New Zealand from here on. They go well for Scotland. Gets pretty helter-skelter. Duhan Merwe gets a big old line break. The ABs win a turnover. They go left. Havili's passes. They're trying to spin it on the counter. Gets intercepted by bloody Darcy Graham. What is it with Darcy Graham and starting the match with headgear and then taking it off? It's the second time I've seen him do that. What is the deal? Does he have to wear it because he's protecting something? He's got stitches in his head that haven't healed, but then he doesn't like it. I remember Adi Savia used to wear those goggles, but he would rip them off halfway through the game. Don't know. It's bizarre, but Darcy Graham gets a well-worked try, man. That's a great intercept. So 14 points apiece. 7 points down due to the ALB card, partially. And Scotland's kicking game causing absolute havoc. Just able to pin it just inside the touchline. So as soon as Jordie Barrett would grab the ball, boom, into touch. Perfect kicking game. It was going really well. It happened twice. Although bad news for them, Hamish Watson went off pretty early. So, kind of probably before the 20-odd minute mark. So it's a big guy to lose because he's such a machine. But I mean, Ritchie was still filling the shoes of the kind of turnover merchant, wasn't he? Scotland did go close, but Ritchie was one of the ones who got penalised when he took kind of a double roll to protect himself from Savia pinching things at the breakdown. So, yeah, Scotland from here, if you're looking back at this game as a Scottish fan, there's a fair few chances you probably needed to take in terms of scoring tries, but didn't get. The Ritchie one is kind of a lost opportunity. The Hogg one, that one was from Ritchie getting a penalty at the breakdown. They mauled it when they had advantage, spun it wide, and it was Hogg and Graham out wide. I feel like if Hogg draws a man and then passes to Graham into space, that's a try. But Hoggy, the New Zealand commentators gave him all kinds of grief about it. Hoggy kind of plays into the space, so Graham, when he finally gets the ball, ends up with a foot and touch. So, the New Zealand commentators gave him a lot of grief about it. I think they're partially right. Sometimes a bit of that white line fever, eh? But we're still back for an advantage, and Russell's able to kind of dink over the resulting penalty. So it's 17-14, Scotland in front, but you much would have preferred to get that try. 35 minutes, New Zealand did manage to go through a heap of phases, get themselves into Scotland's 22, but they ended up knocking it on. Scotland winning a penalty at the resulting scrum, so any push for New Zealand to get their momentum back was just ripped right away from them. And then right before half-time, Scotland went so close multiple times. Duhan van der Merwe went close, Fraser Brown went close, but then eventually Savia kind of gets us out of jail with winning a penalty at the breakdown. So 17-14 it is at half-time. Scotland have had the possession, New Zealand have had the territory. But yeah, it's been, apart from that first 10 minutes, it's been largely Scotland in terms of the game. And then that kind of resumes in the second half. Scotland continue on with that big bit of pressure. ALB offside means it's another penalty for the Scots, 20 points to 14. Ritchie wins another penalty at the breakdown. Scotland's line-out attack. Hogg goes close again. But the All Blacks somehow find a way to win a penalty on their own line again. How many times that happened? Multiple. But, I mean, New Zealand missed touch from that resulting penalty. And then Duhan van der Merwe drops the kick, which didn't find touch. So the All Blacks end up getting a scrum because they said he knocked it on. It kind of looked like he knocked it back. But, don't leave yourself in the ref's hands. Don't drop the bloody ball, basically. But, yeah, a bit of a weird moment. New props come on for New Zealand to try and stabilise things at scrum time. They still get pinged. That resulting scrum penalty means it's 23-14, so it's a two-score game. But we're only at like 52 minutes, and that is the end of the Scottish scoring. And there's been, at least I've mentioned, at least 3 times when New Zealand were able to kind of get out of jail on their own goal line. So they've only managed to, after those 2 tries, score the 3 penalties, the Scots. And then I think the momentum starts to shift back to the All Blacks, where the All Blacks kind of bookend this game. Right, they start well, and they finish well. Cody Taylor, he's been much maligned here in NZ recently. He comes on and adds some impact, and I think the New Zealand bench just generally adds a fair bit of impact. He gets a maul turnover, which means we've got a chance in Scotland's half, and it pretty much directly leads to 3 points because the All Blacks get a penalty in scrum time and ended up kicking it. With the advantage, they did try a crossfield kick to Caleb Clark, but it was way too deep. So 23-17, it's back to being a wee bit tighter. And then 64 minutes, Jack Dempsey gets a yellow card. It's a harsh one. It is harsh, but I don't think it's unusual. I don't think Dempsey is looking at that ball because he's going for a tackle. They say he's deliberately knocked it on in the tackle. I think he's just going for a tackle. He'd have incredible reaction times to adjust his hand for a deliberate knock on. Yeah, they showed it in such slow motion. I don't think his eyes leave the player. So, like I said, it's a harsh one. I don't think it was a deliberate knock on. But, as I said, by the way they referee the game, when it was a yellow card, I was 0% surprised because those kind of yellow card for that kind of incident occur all the time. So, tough, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. AB's called for a 5-metre scrum. Jordie Barrett goes close, and then Scotty Barrett ends up going over. There was going to be a Barrett getting it done one way or another. So, with the conversion, 24 points to 23. New Zealand in front, 7 points in the yellow card. And there, man, even the things that have been going wrong to start going right. Getting a penalty at scrum time. Momentum's pretty much back with NZ. End of the yellow card period, but the All Blacks still managed to get that second try right before the yellow card finishes. TJ Perenata's come off the bench, and he just starts directing the traffic really well. He puts it to Rico. Rico puts it to Talea. And Talea goes over for his second try of the game. The crowd were booing like his grounding. There's nothing wrong with his grounding. I don't get that. Maybe the camera angle they showed looked different because the ball kind of bounces, but he forces it. So, yeah, that was pretty much all she wrote, especially with the cracking conversion from old Jordie. So 31 points to 23. That is the final score. I mean, TJ caps off his cameo from the bench with a breakdown penalty at the end of the game. So well done to him, man. I thought his All Blacks career was maybe pretty much done and dusted. So if I'm not mistaken, it goes like All Blacks 14 unanswered points, Scotland 23 unanswered points, and then All Blacks 17 unanswered points. So bizarre game in that regard. But like I mentioned, the All Blacks start well, finish well. The Scots needed to get more points in that middle period. Run meters 385 to 487. The All Blacks edge it. The All Blacks also edge the possession 54%, territory 57. Clean breaks 5 to 6, so pretty close. Tackles 151 for the Scots at 87%. The All Blacks 112 at 80%, so a wee bit low. But you got Duhan van der Merwe to thank, and Darcy Graham to a lesser extent for a lot of those broken tackles. Duhan breaks 10. Probably a couple of them are marked to later. 80 metres for him. Ritchie wins a couple of turnovers, makes 12 tackles. Talea, 92 metres, 6 defenders beaten, 3 clean breaks. 1 from 4 tackles is not the best defensive shift, but 2 tries on debut, can't complain. Papali'i gets man of the match, makes 14 tackles, wins 2 turnovers. So, yeah, there you go. Bit of a back and forth match. I'm going to go have some chicken soup and rest my throat because, as I said, it's feeling kind of raw. I swear it's my kids bringing stuff home from school and daycare in terms of bugs, but there you go, it happens. You guys let us know your thoughts. I'm going to go listen to my dad's messages and have some soup. Take care, folks. See you again. Bye.